Today was awesome with Billy just because obviously finance is not everyone's favorite topic. It could be boring for some. However, today he made it really engaging and had an amazing flow to it, and it was nice because he was so relatable to our topic.
Yeah, it was nice to take it from the perspective of studios and fitness and like connecting the dots between that because, well, we spend a lot of time looking at numbers. It's more about the deeper side, and I'm a studio owner and then I have my like sales manager. It's nice to dive deep into why the numbers are the way they are. So, well, I know that maybe parts of it, she maybe didn't see that, or maybe there's things that like I learned that she's like, oh, like that makes sense now, and we kind of can elaborate more into why the sales numbers that we're hitting, our KPIs, are why they are.
Yeah,
instead
really
of just hitting them.
With me. It was really great. Hi, my name's Millie Layton. I'm operations and sales with Rebel Method Pilates.
My name's Cassidy, and I'm the owner and founder of Rebel Method Pilates. We're located in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, and we're opening our second in Madison, Wisconsin.
What would you say was your biggest takeaway?
My biggest takeaway was really understanding. I know the numbers of our studio, but really Billy's key points of the whys behind it, and it really clicked and put two and two together. Like, oh, that made sense.
For me, I spend a lot of times in the numbers. I love the numbers. I love the spreadsheets, but I always feel like kind of that loss of like what's next or like how to progress. We're opening a second one, so what are like the numbers going to look like from the first translating into the second, and the loans and that kind of stuff. And so like I've never heard of like a coach on that stuff in that future. So like that was super nice to like hear his perspective on like what it looks like to have a coach and like diving into that, and then being able to like research that and kind of giving that guidance that opened my mind so much. So I'm excited about that.
What would you say somebody's thinking about bringing Billy in to do a talk?
Oh, I would highly recommend Billy just because he, first of all, cares about you. He makes it very known. It's not just about the money. It's not about the business, but it's an all-over picture. He has been in that situation before, and so I think he relates that, and he understands that it matters to an individual rather than just a business. So he'll look over the whole picture, and he's very knowledgeable. Yeah.
I love that his presentation, he took the time to, kind of make it connect to what we were talking on, and especially in the fitness studios, but then like the flow of it, even if we like kind of jumped ahead and had a question, he's like, we have a slide for it. He's already there. Like he had everything prepped. And so like he would kind of get that flow so we could keep going, and it all made sense. So like everything was kind of a puzzle piece that kept adding on to like get to the end. So it was a really nice like overall picture. Even if we were like asking a question that was jumping ahead, he was able to like kind of keep that on that correct flow, which I thought was really nice. So we weren't getting lost. He made finance fun today, which is kind of shocking. Like I was kind of zoning out after lunch, and that reeled me right back in.
Yeah, he provided a book, and Cassidy practically skimmed through the entire thing. I was more engaged with the slides because she knows the numbers thing, so she was multitasking. But I'm actually excited to read this finance book, which doesn't happen often.
No, so. I skimmed through the entire book. I started just kind of flipping through the backside, and then I was like, wait a second. So I went to the front and just literally skimmed through the entire book. And like, I'm someone that has to like kind of multitask. And I was like, wait, this book is so interesting. And I like actually excited to fully read it. But it was kind of fun to read through like and see your experience and everything like broken down. And then once I kind of skimmed through it and then connecting it to everything you were saying, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like even more in detail. So I was excited.
Yeah. Another takeaway that I just remembered was at the beginning when we were going over the different verbiages of like, this is also called this. You might hear it like this, it's like this. And I'm like, why don't they teach us this at a young age of like high school? And so there was a lot of moments there that clicked for me where I've heard all these terms, but it was nice to someone to break it down.
Yeah. I'm excited because there are even some things that I feel like we didn't touch on too much because we were focusing on like the studio numbers that I read in the book that I'm like actually more excited to get into, like the personal, like going into like the retirements and everything like that I was skimming through in the book. I'm excited to kind of dive into that because it wasn't something that's maybe the most relatable to what we need to get through today, but I'm like, that's so much more knowledge that I know you have, and I'm kind of excited to like get into that.
And I'm excited too that, Billy seems super relatable and nice and approachable, that we're confident as, studio owner, sales ops manager, that we can reach out to him at any point and he'll answer questions. So.
Yeah.